we are going to go into the depth of the fire element. We're going to understand how to counteract it when it gets out of whack. You know, people that have. Okay, so let's recap for a second. Fire elements. Fire elements are people that by hook or by crook, they want to grow. They need to move. Okay, by hook or by crook, doesn't matter what. They need to. What they have is not good enough. What they own right now is nice, but they need an upgrade. Where they are in terms of their professional life, their health life, their work life, their whatever, they're always looking to up their game. Always looking to up their game. It's not enough for them where they are. They got the house, they got the car, they got the man, they got the woman, they had the kid, they got a degree, and now they're off to the next thing, the next degree, the next house, the next thing, the next upgrade. They can't just, glide through life and have like the basics and be happy with the basics and just live that kind of lifestyle. They would rather die than live that kind of lifestyle. Okay. Now remember, you have fire inside of you. Whether it's dominating or not, that's a different question. But you definitely have fire inside of you. All of us have all four elements inside of us. Now, we're going to get into the nitty gritty. We're going to do like surgery on understanding how fire plays out, where it plays out, how it plays out. The idea for these classes is to get really, really clear and almost like categorize, like put it into compartments and understand why certain things that you feel or do are the way they are. Almost like some people that are fire element people, we're going to learn that fire has three different compartments, and we're going to go into each compartment. There's good fire, there's fire that consumes for good reason, I'm sorry, again, one more time. Fire that consumes bad. For example, a person that stops smoking, okay? A person that stops any bad habit because they have a goal, because they want to feel better, because they want to lose weight, because they want to whatever it may be, okay? So they quickly get rid of that thing that's stopping them, that's in their way. They move out of the way, they consume it, they burn it, okay? It's frozen. Is it frozen for everyone? No, okay. I think that maybe it's just for me. No, okay, great. Okay. Maybe it's just where you are, maybe it's just the Wi-Fi reception where you are. So that those people will get whatever it is out of their way, out of their path to get to what they need to get to, their destination. So fire, it comes in three different compartments. Now, this is very technical because it's figuring out the building blocks. It's figuring out the building blocks. Now, when I explode and when I'm upset about something or someone, right? I don't know that I'm having this whole thing going on the inside with my fire good and my fire bad, and I'll explain in a minute. I don't know what's really going on. But the minute I start becoming aware of these things and start being able to pinpoint, then I know that that's good fire and that's bad fire. That's healthy fire and that's really, really dysfunctional and disproportionate and destructive fire. And it can feel like it's coming from the same place, from that same passion, coming from that same charisma, coming from that same go-getter feeling inside of me. Okay, it can feel like it's really coming from the same place, but one is good and one is esh zara, one is bad, one is foreign, one is idol worship, one is bad. Okay, so we're gonna now go into the three categories. Category number one is fire that burns what's bad. Okay, like I just said, stop smoking, quit my job, start a new business, do things that are in my way, and because they're in my way, I want to get them out of my way, and that's fire. It consumes what's right here in order to be able to move to the next. Okay, that's healthy fire. That's people that say, you know what, I'm not going to stay in this relationship forever. It's holding me down. I'm not really able to be myself, express myself, be myself, and like let my hair down with this person because everything I am and everything I do and everything is not good or is judged or is put down or is bullied or is nullified or is whatever. So a person that has a fire element inside of them Hang on, somebody's asking if we're on Zoom or on Zoom. A person that's on a fire element person will have a very, very hard time sitting still in that kind of a relationship. Will have a very, very hard time no matter how much they love the other person, no matter what's on the line. They're going to have a very, very hard time not being able to move forward, whether it's with the person or without the person, but to move forward. So they cut their losses and they whatever, they get rid of whatever is in their way in order to be able to facilitate their growth, in order to be able to facilitate more growth. Okay, so that's a very stereotypical person, a fire element person that even if they're down and out, now we can see, we're going to learn soon how fire element people can get depressed and they can get sad and all of that. Okay, we're going to really, really get into fire today. Even if they're down and out, they still feel a sense of wanting to move, but they can't move for whatever reason. We're going to get to it soon. They can't move. Their inability to move is what causes them this sadness and this darkness and this depression. Okay, it's what causes them this feeling of paralysis. It's their inability to move. So a person that's really dominated by fire will eventually remove, okay, we're going to learn how to do that. They're going to remove the obstacle in their way. They're going to remove the thing that's not allowing them to be their fullest selves and to feel like they can move. They're going to remove the thing that's stopping them, and then they're going to keep going. Okay? And that's really, really the healthy way for a fire. It's really very healthy for a fire to learn how to do that. Okay, so the next part of it, we're going to get to all of these things that I'm saying we're going to get to later. We're getting to soon. The next part of fire is that fire consumes something good in order to get to something better. He's not consuming a bad habit. He's not consuming a bad relationship. Okay, he's not consuming a bad job. He's consuming something good for something better, which means that, let's say, for example, I think we said this example last time, that the let's say the earth element person will be steady for years, can work in the same job, same desk, same bosses, same breakfast, same everything, can work at the same thing every day, and they're good, they feel good. So a person that's a fire element person will look at that person and say, I don't understand, are you made out of stone? How do you manage to sit there day in, day out for 30 years with the same people at the same job without an upgrade and without a new desk and without new surroundings? How? Right? So a person that's a fire element that's burning good for the sake of better is a person that says, yes, I like my house, or I like this position, or I like this relationship, but I want to make it better. Like, it's good. I like my my surroundings, but maybe I'm gonna break the roof over here, or I'm gonna break that wall over there, and I'm gonna extend. I'm gonna change the furniture around every so often. I'm going to I like what is, but I want more. I want better. Okay? That's a person that consumes the here and the now in order to create a better, different reality soon. Okay? That's another compartment of the fire element. The third compartment is a person that is a fire element that consumes good in a negative way. In other words, it's a person that is gonna, if someone gets them, someone messes with them, someone makes them upset, they want to eradicate this person. They want to extinguish this person. They want to exterminate. What fire does: extinguishes, exterminates, consumes. That's what they want to do. They want to. The guy cut him off. He wants to walk up to his window, and pull out a gun on him. He really thinks, because he's so dominated by the fire. He really thinks that, like, you got in my way, I'm gonna get you out of my way. Right? So that's what happens when fire goes off the deep end. When fire is not contained, when fire is not balanced in the nefesh, in the soul, when the fire element is not balanced, it's there, it's the go-getter, it's the people that are running, it's the people that are climbing the rungs, that never stop, that want to go up, and it's never enough. Okay, they need to be on top of the game. They need to come out with the best invention, with the, find the biggest discovery, right? They're the ones that also might feel that same energy when someone really, really sets them off, when someone really hurts their feelings, when someone's really in their way, and they really feel like this has to stop. They have to get out of the way. We have to put an end to this. We're going to put them, they are driven to get rid of the obstacle. So now what we're going to learn is now we're going to move into understanding. Okay, I'm really, really making it where we're learning this in depth, but we're also learning it in a nutshell because there's a lot to learn here. A person that we have to know that every element has a counter element. Okay, so you know what element to counter this element with when you know in which department you fall into. So for example, a fire element person, let's say he's a general of the army. So what he will do is that he will, let's say, have to bomb a certain area where the enemy is. So he'll bomb the enemy and he'll get rid of the enemy. He'll get rid of the threat, right? But that actually did something, even though it was good. Even though it was good. For example, we have here in Israel that any Arab terrorist that acts on terrorism, then they get a tzav. What's it called? This tzav harisa. A tzav harisa, which means that the government issues an order for demolishment, meaning they have to go to the terrorist's home and they have to demolish their home, demolish it completely with tractors and everything, demolish the house. Now, one second, if you look at it from an objective point of view for a second, it's a house. It's a house. It has frames and doors and plumbing and furniture and a kitchen, and it's a functional home. And it might even be a few stories high, and it might even be really fancy, and it might even be very expensive. Okay, which a lot of terrorist families' homes are, apparently. Okay, that kind of goes hand in hand these days. So you would think that demolishing this house is the wrong thing to do. Consuming this house, extinguishing this house, exterminating this house, getting rid of this house is the wrong thing to do. Why would you take something so functional, so good, right, and destroy it? Because it depends on the reason behind it. The reason behind the consumption can be a very good reason, meaning the consumption is a good consumption. The demolishment is a good demolishment. And I'm going to give you examples soon. We're going to get into examples. I'm just trying to build this concept in our minds first. Okay? So the demolishment is going to be a good demolishment. But is the demolishment still happening? Yes, the demolishment is still happening. So in the nefesh of a person, they burn when they get rid of things in their nefesh that are bad for them, bad habits, people that are growing people that are always pushing themselves. They fall and they get up. They fall and they get up. They want to keep going. They want to keep going. Right? So those kinds of people, these fire element people, they're doing the right thing. They're burning the step that they're on. They're burning the situation that they're in right now. Okay, this job is not good enough. I'm throwing myself in the water again. I'm going to find something better. I'm going to hustle. I'm going to speak to this one. I'm going to speak to that one. I'm going to create a job for myself. I'm going to hire a staff. I'll borrow money. I'll do this. I'll do that in order to be able to get to where they want to get to. Right? It's not safe so much with them. It's not so safe with them. So the act of what they're doing is a good act. It's a good act. Stopping to smoke is a good act. Holding themselves back. What was the example that I gave before here? Hold on. Right? Stopping something that's holding me back, like a bad relationship or an abusive relationship. Right? Stopping it, getting rid of it in order to move forward. That is the good kind of fire. Even with the good kind of fire, we're learning here that good kind of fire, it still creates something in the nefesh, meaning it still creates the fact that you put it out, the fact that you burnt it down, the fact that you demolished it, the fact that you got rid of it, the fact that you broke off from it, the fact that you did that action, the act of consumption, has created something inside of your nefesh that you have to combat that with something called the element of water. Meaning, if the element of fire comes and consumes, the element of fire, the water comes to give life to. So you have this army, and you have this general that killed the enemy. At the same time, this general, he killed 3,000 people right now. They were the enemy. They needed to go. Okay, according to all the plans, they needed to go. He killed 3,000 people right now. He still needs to, in order to keep his fire element inside of him balanced, he still needs to now go feed 3,000 people. He needs to go feed 3,000 people. He needs to go help 3,000 people get into housing. He needs to go give jobs to 3,000 people. He needs to do something to counteract the destruction that he created, even if it was a productive one. Meaning the koach mayim, the water element here, when the fire is good fire, the water is what gives life force. Water always know that water, equate water with giving life to. Giving life to. When you make someone smile, you're giving them life. When you give someone a cup of water, when they're thirsty, you're giving them life. When you give charity to someone, you're giving them life. That's why it says, tzedakah tatil mimavet. Why is tzedakah tatil mimavet? Why does tzedakah save a person from death? Because by the act of giving somebody else money, I'm adding to their life. I'm giving them a little air to breathe. I'm giving them life. By the fact that I give someone life, I get more life. That's why it saves a person from death. It saves a person from death because you're giving life somewhere. You see, in spirituality, everything is a match. Everything is a match. You are always going to be a match to your life. Your vibration, in terms of where you are in yourself, your actions, your thoughts, they create a certain movement, an energetic movement around you, about you, internally. And that movement is called a vibration. That movement attracts a similar movement. So if you're meeting people that are givers and that are lovers and that are doers and shakers, and that's the kind of people that you're meeting in your life, guess what? You are meeting them, and the guy next to you is not meeting them. The guy next to you is meeting the opposite of them. And that's why right now with this whole like Aliyah initiative that I'm involved in and trying to bring Jews to Israel and trying to create some, facilitate that in some kind of way, you literally see this. It's so clear. You see some people saying like, Israel is amazing. Israel is incredible. Israel is wonderful. We just want to make it there. We want to be there. We want to live there. We want to breathe there. And then you have other people saying, Israel? There's no work in Israel. The taxes are insane in Israel. The bureaucracy is retarded. It's terrible in Israel. Israel has, Arabs and terrorism, and it has all, and like it's very, and both are true for both people. Meaning this person sees the reality this way, and this person sees the reality this way. Does it mean that both those realities are not happening simultaneously here? No, they are happening simultaneously here. What you attract depends on what's going on here. What you attract depends on the kind of energy, the kind of momentum that you're coming with. That's what you're going to end up seeing. That's what you're going to end up experiencing in your life. You're going to see the thieves and the cheaters and the ones that want to get you and the ones that are going to bully you, and you're going to see the terrorists, and you're going to see, that's what you're going to see. Because that's the energy of what's going on about you, inside you. It's not like I'm being realistic. No. It's where you are at any given moment is what you're going to experience in the world around you. Nikuda, period, end of sentence. Jews and non-Jews alike agree on this. Judaism, Buddhism, Christianity, and all the mindfulness stuff agree on this one concept in spirituality. The like attracts like. If you are in the motion, if you are using your days, your time to be in the act of giving, to be in the act of giving more life here and giving more life here and giving a smile here and donating some old clothes here and giving the girl a ride to the airport that doesn't have a family or doesn't have whatever, thinking of ways of giving life to the people around you, feeding your family is giving life. The more in that kind of environment, in that kind of vibe we are in, the more life force we're going to see outside of us. We're going to end up in those communities. We're going to be surrounded by those people. We're going to end up bumping into them. We're going to be the recipient of that. That's what's going to happen. And the opposite is the same. So he's saying, one second. You have fire in your nefesh? That's cool. That's good. Excellent. You're burning things in order to get to the next thing. That's amazing. But remember, you have to know this, that you are a go-getter. And you are a person that wants to get to the next thing and wants to create and wants to do and wants to accomplish. Okay, you are that. You are a flame. You're going upward. But remember one thing, that if you don't put boundaries around that, you will burn yourself and everything and everyone else around you. Because fire without boundaries goes. It just goes until it hits a body of water. It just continues to consume and consume and consume. That's what happens. So we have to create boundaries. And now he's teaching us, so how do you create a boundary? So if you're consuming, you're stopping to smoke, you're stopping to eat white flour and white sugar, you are stopping to meet a certain friend or a certain family member that, that around them, things happen to you and stuff happens and there's a lot of gossip and there's a lot of, you put your boundaries up, okay, about those things. You have to know that the more boundaries you put up with something, the more of a din person you're going to become in your nefesh. You're going to become a more judgment-oriented person. You understand that, right? Because you're creating boundaries. A lot of them. People that become religious, many times, and this happened to me, okay? I created so many boundaries. In 6 months, as a 12-year-old, I stopped wearing pants, I stopped eating non-kosher, and I started keeping Shabbat. All 3 in 6 months. And what happened to me is that, first of all, I said no to these clothes, no to that food, no to that restaurant, no to going on a Shabbat, no to this, no to this, no to this, no to this. I'm saying no to all of these things in an effort to get to where I want to go to. But at the same time, what's happening to me? What's happening to me with all of these boundaries and these restrictions that I am doing in order to get to the next level? What's happening to me? It's impacting me. It's impacting me in a good way also, because I'm able to now move forward without anything getting in my way. But what else is happening to me simultaneously? Someone answer me. Carla, tell me.
You're also restricting your growth.
How are you restricting your growth? In what area?
Well, if you put up boundaries, if you think of it like a fence, fencing keeps you safe, delineates your area, but it also possibly prevents those things coming to you that are good for you. If I have a package to be delivered, but they can't get through the fence, I don't get what I was meant to receive. So I think sometimes when we're setting up boundaries in our process, we're not, especially when we're first learning, we're maybe putting up the walls a little too high. We can't see the horizon over them.
I like that. Thank you. Anyone else? I see people are writing in. Anyone else? This is really important. I want to take a minute and stop here and go into this for a second. Tell me, anyone else, what happens when we're doing something good? We're doing something good, okay? We're starting to keep Shabbos. We're keeping Shabbos. Like, what could be better? A person decides that they're going to start keeping the Sabbath. Wow, that's a huge deal. That's not easy. Okay, they're not going to light anything. They're not going to go anywhere in a car. They're not going to turn on the light. That's a big deal. What happens to them when they do that? And they're also going to be careful with what comes out of their mouth, with their gossip, with their tongue. And they're also going to be careful with what goes into their mouth. And they're also learning about their body and how to treat their body and how to use themselves when they wake up in the morning, from when they wake up in the morning to wash off the tumah from their hands, the impurity. So they have that, right? They have it's not necessarily too much at once. What happens to the nefesh? What happens to the nefesh when there's a lot of boundaries? Lots of boundaries. Good. Thank you, Gabriella. Gabrielle, they create a very intense, I missed what you just wrote, they create a very intense vibe. They create a very intense vibe about the person. Very intense, very rigid, very strict. But I'm doing the right thing. I'm keeping Torah and mitzvos. You are. So what he's teaching us here, in all of his brilliance, he's teaching us like this. Do what you need to do. Go for it, my friend. Go. But you have to know that you, at the same time, need to be also doing the water element. At the same time. You're burning this stuff in order to get ahead, good. But you have to be doing the water element. The water element is it's the force, the energetic force of giving life to something else. So you're creating boundaries and you're putting up walls and you're going for your goal and you're getting you're not losing your focus and you want to get to your destination and you're learning and you're becoming aware and you realize how the food that you eat impacts your soul and impacts your growth and impacts your decision making and impacts your clarity and impacts how close you feel to spirituality and to God. Oh, so of course I'm gonna curb certain foods, and of course I'm gonna be careful there because this is the most important to me. The most important to me is my internal world and my internal processes and development. That's the most important thing to me because I understand at this point in my life that what I am on the inside creates my life on the outside. I understand that I am the master creator of my life, the master creator of my life. There's no one doing it to you. There's no one putting you in that kind of a rut. There's no one doing it to you. It's how you are measuring yourself, how you are training yourself on the inside. That's what you're going to see on the outside. So if you're training yourself to be a giver, if you're training yourself to be a lover of mankind, if you're training yourself to be a person that is careful with what they say, is careful with how they judge people, is careful with, with inviting people into their home when they can, and allowing and having this openness. If you're that kind of person, if you're doing all these actions in order because you have one very clear goal in front of you, you have one very clear goal in front of you, and that is self-development and spiritual expansiveness, then you'll do all of these actions in order to get to there. So he's telling us very, very clearly that a fire element person is going to go straight for his goal, but he's really going to end up doing what he's going to naturally do is just put up fences, get rid of this, get rid of that, get rid of this, get rid of that, go, 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 go. And he's telling you, good, do that, but throw into the mix, you must also this feeling of this doing of giving life, of not just nullifying, of not just extinguishing, of not just consuming, but also giving, of also giving life to something, not just taking away something's life. That's what fire element people do. They take away the life out of something. They take the life out of something, and that's how they consume it. They stop giving it focus. They stop liking it. They stop coming close to it. They stop being around it. They stop associating with it. They stop giving it life. They stop giving it life. That's what fire people do. They stop giving the thing that they want out of their way, life, attention, focus, in an effort to go to the next thing. So we're teaching the fire element people, great, do that. That's amazing. But at the same time, you kill 3,000 people, you have to give food to 3,000 people. You have to now work on your nefesh, not to just go down that road, because you're going to get very intense, you're going to get very rigid, you're going to get very black and white, you're going to get very judgmental, you're going to get very impatient. That's what's going to happen to your nefesh. But what do you mean? I'm keeping Shabbat and I'm eating kosher, right? But you didn't balance yourself out. That's why that's happening to you. And now you're walking around thinking you're holier than thou. Everyone else is not good enough for you because you've done everything and you're the world's biggest tzaddikus. And now this one's not good enough. And that one's, why aren't they working harder? Why don't they get up to go to shul in the morning? Why don't they try harder? Why aren't they letting in Shabbos an hour earlier? Why don't they wear their skirts longer? Why doesn't she cover her hair? Why doesn't she? That's what happens. We don't want to be like that. We don't want to do good and then on the others, get the brunt of it. We don't want to be that way. And that's what happens to fire element people. They get to a point where their demons are big time anger and haughtiness. Big time. Anger happens to them because they have a script in their head, very clear, of what they need to do and what needs to happen, and you are getting in their way. You're not abiding by the script. You're not doing what needs to happen in order to get to where we need to go. So you're getting on their nerves. Understand? That's what happens. That's why they get angry, because why are you holding me back? Why are you slowing me down? Why are you not like why don't you see what we're doing and where we're going and let's go? You're messing it up. So they get angry because they have a very specific goal, and anything that holds them back makes them crazy. And they have no patience. They have no patience for anyone that's slower. They have no patience for anyone that's not as decisive. They have no patience. They get like very like, okay, I don't know, I'm out. Okay, that's what happens to a fire element person when they're not working on themselves. Again, we're not working on you. Fire is good. All the elements are good. Can a person change their elements as they grow, like from earth to fire, or vice versa? So they can balance them out, not change them. We don't want to change on any of our elements. We were created with the elements that we have. I don't want my elements to change. I don't want the fire in my neshama to go away. I can't. Sometimes I there's no way for me to get around it. Like I have it in me, and there's nothing for me to do about it. But what I need to know about it is that I must balance it out with the other elements. So how do I balance out my fire element? We talked about balancing out fire with water. Now we're going to talk about balancing out fire with earth. Okay, because they're just like in the actual planet Earth. When there's fire, how do you put out fire? Two ways, either water or dirt, right? If you put wind on fire, what's going to happen is that the fire is going to go even further. Are these elements like an inner part of you? Is the negative fire vibe like the Sahara? We're going to ask our questions at the end, okay? We're going to get through it. We're going to ask your questions at the end. So keep your questions or write them down, or maybe write them in the thing and don't press send yet. And then at the end, shoot me all your questions. So what were we up to? I looked at Carla smiling and I totally got distracted. That's what happens. So we were talking about this idea that when we're gonna put limits on the fire, we're gonna put it on the fire either with water or with earth. Okay? Remember, every good element needs boundaries. Every good element needs boundaries. Okay? Even if you're a giver, like we're going to go into water next time, you're such a giver, you're such a do-gooder, you're such a helper. You bake and you go and you run and you feed and you do and you this. That also needs boundaries. That needs boundaries. Because you're drowning people around you without even noticing it. You're making people either addicted or what's it called, dependent. Right? God is the ultimate good doer. The ultimate. Anything you want, you can have in a second. Anything. So why is he making it so difficult for us? I want X, A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z. Why don't I have it yet? He can do anything for me. I know he loves me. 100% know he loves me. I know I'm important to him. He knows that the things that I want are good for me, and I'm going to do more good with them in the world. So why are you not giving it to me, God? Because there's something called in the Torah, there's something called Nama de Chasufa. Nama de Chasufa literally is translated as poor man's bread. Listen to this, it's so brilliant. Listen, I don't know what it is that I'm holding in my hand. Anyone knows what this creature is? Whatever. It's like a half fire, half water demon that's shooting things. So what was I saying? I'm sorry, get distracted. Someone remind me what I was just saying before this?
Poor man's bread.
Thank you. So you have the Nama de Chasuva, you have the poor man's bread. Poor man's bread means that there is something in the energetic field. Everything that happens in your life is energy. Everything that happens in your life is energy. Everything that happens in your life is energy. You, by the fact that you are human, you have an energy zone around you. Your energy zone is going to be determined by the thoughts and the words and the actions that you think, speak, and do. Okay? So when you're thinking bad things, it affects your energy zone. It affects what actually happens in your life. It affects the kind of relationship that you're going to have in the next few minutes. It affects the thing, even if you're just thinking it. How many of you have seen Dr. Emoto's water experiment? Dr. Emoto was a doctor. You have to see this. It's on YouTube if you haven't seen it yet. It's a water experiment that he did on water. He took 3 samples of water. Each water sample he spoke to. The first water sample, he said good things to. You're beautiful, you're wonderful, you're amazing, I love you. The second water sample, he said terrible things to. He cursed, he called them terrible names. He said names of killers, okay? And then the third water sample he did nothing with. He left it alone, H2O. They took samples from each cup of water. You have to go and you have to watch this. Ever since he did this experiment, they've been doing it all over the states, all over the world, in different universities, and they've been trying it with different things, and it's worked amazing. Thank you so much. Someone posted the link. Someone here posted the link to that. Okay? And when he looked at the water, from the first glass of water that he spoke nicely to, guess what? The actual molecules were in a beautiful shape. They were in the shape of a star, a snowflake, beautiful shapes. The actual molecules gathered together just by the vibration of the words, just by the vibrations of the word that he said to the water. It actually, the actual molecules lined up in beautiful, beautiful shapes. And then the water that he cursed at and that he said terrible things to, they took that molecule, the molecules there, and they put it under a microscope, and they saw that the shapes of the molecules were literally deformed. They were deformed. They were even very, very ugly, strange, weird, deranged-looking molecules. The vibration of his curses, of the words that he said to this, moved the physical reality in a terrible shape, in an ugly shape, you'll see it, it's unbelievable. And the water that he didn't speak to was H2O molecules. It stayed H2O molecules. The words that we say actually have a vibration, and they impact the surrounding, the vibe, the energy, the air around us. Times when you walk into somebody's house and there's like a good vibe in their house. There's like a good energy in the house. You like being there. It's fun to be there. There's like a good vibe there. And sometimes you walk into a house that's equally as beautiful and equally as great. There's like this energy there. You want to run. You want to get out. You don't want bye, right? Like that. There's something there, or you're talking to a person and you don't know what it is, but they no, something. You don't know what it is. But you get this feeling. If we would have X-ray vision, we would literally see it. We have an aura around us. We have an energy field around us. And our energy field, it attracts similar energy fields. It attracts similar. So if I'm thinking in my head all the time, I don't know how to make money. 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 If that's what I'm thinking, guess what I'm attracting in my life? I'm attracting a broke situation because I'm literally creating waves and vibrations and energies, and that's what they're pulling in. That's what they're pulling in. More dead-end jobs, more dead-end relationships and experiences. I don't know how to be together in a relationship. I don't know how to have a healthy relationship. I've never had a healthy relationship. I never had a relationship because of X, Y, Z, or I've done this and this and this. Look at my track record. So forget it. I don't know how to have a healthy relationship. Who's going to want me? I'm just thinking those things. In my mouth, you know what I say with my mouth? Of course I want to have a relationship. Of course I'm ready for a relationship. Of course I deserve a relationship. Of course I'm into and I want this and this and this out of a man, out of a woman. Of course. But in my head, what's going on here in the back of my head is, and that is what I'm going to put out there. But what's really, really important to know is that all of these vibrations in a moment can change. You can change your vibrations. How easy is it for someone to change a vibration? It's very, very simple. Very simple. All that entails, and this is what we're learning right now, is that you consume the script of now. You consume the thoughts of now. The thoughts of, I don't know how to make money, I don't know how to make money. You're not making money because you're always thinking that you don't know how to make money. That's why you're not making any money. That's why you're not making any money. Because you're thinking, because in the back of your head, you have something stuck telling you, I don't know how to attract money. I don't know how to make money. I'm always going to be stuck in this, half-baked situation. Just rewrite the script in your mind. Even if you're lying to yourself, you feel like you're lying to yourself, good, keep lying. Keep lying. I am a money machine. I know how to make money. Money flows into my life easily. I attract great relationships, great partnerships. People love working with me. I have such an incredible service to offer the world. Everyone that will know my service will come running into my doors. Say this day in, day out, day in, day out. Think it, see it. But I'm lying to myself. It's so not true. That's okay. Think it, see it. Think it, see it. That's how you change vibrations. Because the vibe that you have right now that you're so sure of, I'm so sure that I'm not relationship material. I'm so sure of it. The reason that you're so sure of it is because you rehearsed that script 1,000 times in your head. It's not 5,000 times. It's not 5,000,000 times. So of course you're sure of it. You're so sure of it because you've rehearsed it. You basically got to fake it till you make it. That's basically the idea of what we're understanding here. You have to fake it till you make it because it's not a matter of the proof is in the pudding. It's not a matter of look at the reality that I'm living. That's what is. No, the reality that you're living is based off the thoughts that you're having, the words that you're saying, and the actions that you're taking. Whenever you walk around bummed about your situation, you can be bummed. Rabbi Nachman says you could be bummed for an hour a day. But for the rest of those 23 hours, you are dancing. You are dancing. You are up in a storm dancing. You have no patience to dance. You're sad. You don't want to dance. Dance anyway. Run outside. Go outside, I don't know what, in the rain and sing and act like a crazy person. Milsa d'shtusa, he says. Even act like a weirdo sometimes. Because what that does is shift the whole energy of the sad energy, of the down energy. It shifts the whole energy into a happy energy, into a positive energy, into an energy of I know things are going to go in the right direction. I'm excited about them already. I'm already thanking you, Hashem, for getting me married. I'm already thanking you, Hashem, for all the money in my bank account. Thank you, because I know. Just like I know, like a lot of us know in our heads, no, I'm not good at public speaking, and I'm not good at doing this, and I'm not a committed person. I don't know how to commit to things, and I don't know how to stand by my word, and I always I always say one thing and I don't keep to it, or I have all of these things that I know about myself. It's all BS, my friends. It's BS. You only think you know about yourself because you've been on that track for so long. You've been running on that same track get off the track. Go on a different track. And people make it so complicated. It's very simple. You just have to do it. That's the thing. It's much easier not to do it. It's much easier to just keep going and like rolling with the punches, and whatever happens in life, and whatever. Keep going. Take life as it comes. You have to create the life that you want. You have to sit down and write it and read it and write it and brainwash yourself and think it and put things on your refrigerator and on your wall and on your face when you wake up and see it right away. You have to brainwash yourself. And it doesn't take that long. It's not that complicated. It's not that complicated, but it really is a shift of vibration. It's a shift of vibration. And then like attracts like. Like attracts like. There's something called, the Zohar describes something that's called a superposition. Superposition really means, now again, we're talking energies, we're talking spirituality. Okay, this world follows the spiritual world. What manifests here first and foremost is in the spiritual realms. First and foremost. And there's En Chadash Tachat Hashemesh, Shlomo HaMelech said. This, Solomon, the King Solomon said, there's nothing new under the sun. Meaning that anything that is here is already there. Meaning it has to be there, that's where it originates, in order for it to be projected here. It's almost like a what's it called? A projector. You project the thing onto the wall. So you project the thing on, you're watching the movie on the wall, but the movie is really happening in the projector, meaning it's taking place in the projector. The projector is allowing you to see it on the wall, but you're only seeing what's here. That's exactly the same way. It's exactly the same thing. Energetically, it's happening in the energy levels first, in the spiritual realms first. That's where it's happening. And then you see the life on the wall. Then you see your life manifesting. Then you see the projection of what you're thinking and what you're feeling in your heart and soul. You see the projection in the light, in your life. You want to change the projection? Change the projector. Take out the what's it called? What are they called again? What are they called? whatever. Take out those the movie that's playing right now. There's a name for it, I forgot, and put a different one. Cassette. Oh, thank you. Take the cassette out and put another cassette in, and then you'll have a different projection. Taking out the cassette and putting another cassette in, that requires a little bit of brainwashing. That requires a little bit of lying to yourself. What you think is lying to yourself, but creating a new truth, because the truth that you have going on in the back of your head right now is really not serving you anymore. It's really not helping you anymore. It's making you stuck. It makes you feel suffocated. It makes you feel like you're not moving. It makes you feel like you're not getting to where you want to get to. It makes you feel like you're not achieving your goals. It makes you feel like a loser. It makes you feel like a no good. Doesn't make you feel good. You want to progress and you can't progress because you have all this stuff, all this garbage in your head, all this unnecessary conversation going on in there. So you take the cassette out and you say, okay, I'm lying to myself. No, I'm really a loser. I'm really lazy. I don't know how to make money. Really, I'm lying to myself. I'm lying to myself when I say I'm not a loser. I'm a good person. I am a helper. I care about other people. I really don't care about it, but say it anyway. I care about other people. Say it anyway. I love giving money away. I love inviting people to my home. I love people. I love people. People make me feel alive. People make me feel loved. People make me feel like doing good in the world. Like that. Don't say it in the negative. Always say it in the positive. Remember that. Don't say, I'm not a cheapskate. Say, I'm a giver. Okay? Just remember that point there. So there's this concept called Nama de Chasupa. Nama de Chasupa, why were we talking about it before? Because Hashem says, of course I can give you everything. I'm going to get back to the superposition in a minute. Just write it down for a second. Hashem says, of course I can give you everything you want. But what happens when I'm giving you? What happens when you give your kid? No, sweetie, let me pull up your pants for you and tie it. No, sweetie, you sit down. Let me get you a cup of water. What do you want? You want that? Okay, let me get it for you. Oh, let me tie your shoelaces. Oh, let me wipe your behind. Oh, right? But what happens to this child the more I do everything for them? What happens?
They're dependent.
Exactly. They are dependent, and what happens to them as a result of the fact of the result of their dependency? What happens to them?
They're low self-esteem and helpless.
Exactly. They get helpless. They feel helpless. They feel like they don't know how to do anything. Their self-esteem goes down the tubes. They
And lost. They feel lost also.
Exactly. They feel very lost. Like without you at their side, doing everything for them, they don't know how to manage. So what have you done to them by giving and loving them so much? What have you done to them?
You've made them rely upon you rather than rely upon themselves.
Exactly. You've handicapped them. You've handicapped them. You literally took away their freedom and you put them in a chair and you said, now you're going to sit in this chair and your movement in your life is dependent on Moa. You've handicapped this person. Giving a person their wings, teaching them how to believe in themselves enough to make decisions, even if it's between taking them out and helping them, in these parenting classes, they always tell you, even from when they're very, very little, give them two options of clothes in the morning. Say, do you want to wear this dress or do you want to wear this dress? Even if they don't necessarily, it doesn't matter, put a dress on them, it doesn't matter what dress they wear, they don't care at that age, but give them the option, give them that feeling of being autonomous. Give them that thing. What you're doing for them instead of doing it for them is that you're teaching them how to make choices in their life. You're teaching them how to, what's right for them, how they feel, and based on how they feel and what's going on for them, that's the choice they're gonna make.
Devorah, maybe also like if we're too like on top of our kids and everything, we give them. Like they lose their identity. They don't know. It's really, really, really bad. People
you know what? Something. I have a friend. She has a 3-year-old daughter, and I go with her. We hang out. She's my Shabbos friend. We're always friends, but we see each other on Shabbos. And I noticed her 3-year-old is. I don't understand. I don't understand how a 3-year-old that big, that small, can be so developed. Like I can have a conversation with her. I can learn Torah with her. I could be like, so what do you think? Do you think the stars are like really farther than they look or closer than they look? Do you think that like, and she'll know. She'll have like a real conversation. She's there. She's so there. It's crazy. And she's tiny. She's like this little human. And I see her mom. Her mom is brilliant in that let's say we're in the park and she has to go to the bathroom. So she'll take her to the bushes. She'll afterwards pull up her pants, but she won't close them for her. You know what I'm saying? She won't close her pants with the button and the zipper and pull her shirt down and send her back to play. She'll pull her pants up and then she'll let her go. And she's like busy closing her pants and pulling up her zipper. She says, and whatever they can do, I expect from them to do. Sometimes, of course, you wanna make your kids spoil them and make them feel like, you know what, don't worry, I got this. Give them whatever they want and buy them and whatever. But when you're being mechanech them, when you're raising people, when you're teaching people, and you love these people for real, you don't want to make them dependent on you. You want to make them dependent on themselves. You want to teach them their own strengths. You want to show them how much strength they do have. Now, listen to this amazing thing. People that have a good track record with something, like for sure, you know how to sew. You know how to sew. You've sewn your whole life. You know how to sew. Okay. So now sewing is not you don't have a dilemma about it in your head. Yeah, you can get better, and there's always getting better. But you know what you're doing. You don't have a low self-esteem around that. You don't have fear. I could sew. I could sew. Because you've had experience with sewing, because you've seen yourself accomplish it, you've seen yourself being successful at it, you know how to do it, so you have a good track record with it. But there could be the smallest thing in the world. Like, for example, let me give you an example. Hang on 1 second. Listerine, okay? Listerine. Before my kids knew that the way to open this bottle is by pressing down on both sides and turning it, they were going nuts. They were like, why can't we get into this bottle? Why can't we get into this bottle? We were literally going nuts trying to break into the bottle. And the day I taught them that, you see these two tabs here? You press it, and then you turn it, and then you can open it. Like, oh, and so now this is no longer a challenge for them because they learned it, they did it, and now it's a no-brainer. The more experience you have doing something, the more confident you are about that thing, no matter how big or small. The more experience and success you have doing something, the more confident you are about that thing. So now you want to teach your whomever, yourself, okay, to become more independent, to not be afraid to go out there. So you need to have some kind of association. Now, if you are doing Nama de Chesufa, if you are just giving and giving and giving and giving and giving and giving, and you're making people dependent on you, and you're making people not know how they feel, what to choose, what to pick, where to go, what to say, they don't know. So in essence, when they grow up and they go out into the world, what's going to happen to them is they really won't, they have no association. They have nothing to refer back to. They've never done this before. They've never gone, I went out to a restaurant with a woman that was abused for 20 years. She didn't know what to pick. She didn't know how to choose on the menu. Because he always chose everything. Not that they would go to restaurants, but he was always the one that chose. For 20 years, she didn't think, hey, what am I in the mood of? What do I feel like having? What's going to tickle my fancy right now? Exactly, you're clipping their wings, exactly. And so therefore, choosing from a menu was difficult for her. So it's not necessarily what is in front of you that you think is difficult. Yeah, you for sure could choose from a menu because you have association choosing from a menu. You know how to choose from a menu. You've been choosing from a menu forever. So you did it again. You know you could do it. Great. It's a no-brainer. The things that are challenges for us the things that are like, whoa, they're like the mountains that we have to climb, the losing of the weight, the keeping of the Shabbos, the stopping to smoke, the doing the things that are, the things that are like big for us. We don't have any kind of mental association with being successful with doing that. We don't know, it's like we weren't really ever successful, so we doubt ourselves. So the idea is, and this we're going to finish up for today. The idea is to create small ventures out into the realm that you're interested in, that you want to grow in, that you need to grow in to be happy, that you need to breathe it already. You want so badly to change your life, to get unstuck, to do things that you haven't done in ever, and that are really scary for you. But the only reason that they're scarier for you is because you've never ever ventured, or if you ventured, you were afraid and you came back and you were scared. You were too scared. It's not the thing itself that's the problem, because the guy that knows how to make money, for him making money is a no-brainer. Maybe for him having a relationship is like, oh my gosh, it's like really, really difficult. For the guy that knows how to have a relationship, and he knows he's successful at having relationships and people love him and he loves people, then that's a no-brainer. But making money is, oh my God. So you see, it's not really the thing itself that's the big thing. It's not the thing itself that's the big thing. That's what we're talking about with the superposition. Superposition means, and with this we're going to end, it's like this. It's like you're going to a wedding and there's a smorgasbord, okay? There's the smorgasbord here, and there's what you want. So you go around with your plate at this wedding and you pick, I want this, and I want this, and I want this, and I want this, right? That's what you do. You pick all the things that you want off the thing, and the things that you don't want, the herring or things that you don't like, you're just like, no, it's not going to land up on my plate. Okay? So the superposition means, it's a Kabbalistic term for everything is happening for you simultaneously. Meaning, I am right now in the moment. Also, there's in the higher realms, I am also married. I'm not just married to this person, but I'm married to this person and this person. I have 7 different options of people that I am married to, but I am married in those, meaning all those possibilities are happening simultaneously. All the possibilities for me are happening simultaneously. They are happening simultaneously. I can't get into all the breakdown of how that works. I'm not going to get into it right now. But what I'm giving it to you right now is to know that above you, you are spiritually connected to a higher part of you. There's a hishtalshelus going on. There's something in the higher realms that you're connected to. That's where your shorish and neshama comes from. That's the root of your soul comes from. Okay? And there, all opportunities are open. Everything is open. The superposition. And all you have to do is choose what you want. Now, if you start limiting, I'm not marriage material, I'm not money material, I'm not this, I'm not that, what happens is that you cut yourself off from it. It's not that it's not coming to you, you're already in that relationship. You already are making that money. You already are in the healthy position. You are already in that position. It's all happening simultaneously. There is no time in the higher realms. There is no time. There is no past, present, future. It's all happening simultaneously. All opportunities, it's all open for us simultaneously. The only thing that's holding us back from having things that we want is the way we think about those things. So as a kid, he doesn't know how to open this. He's stressed out about it. He can't figure it out. The more experience he's going to have doing it, the more of a no-brainer it's going to be for him. And that's how we grow up, and that's how it is. The things that you are scared of are not really scary. It's just that you view them, you see them as scary. So now all you have to do is go back to what we were saying before and rewrite the script. That's what you have to do. You have to go back and rewrite the script. And say, I'm not scared of making money. I am excited about making money. I am good at making money. I am amazing at making money. I am the world's best businesswoman ever. The next guy who talks to me I'm selling everything to. You rewrite the script, you create new vibrations, you create a new chat in your mind, a new vocabulary. You don't use the words, oh, I am broke. Stop reading the reality. You're creating a new one. Don't read it. Don't act it. Don't walk around like this. Even if you're feeling that way. Walk around like this, especially because you're feeling that way. Break it. Break it. Train. I call it training the dragon. You got to train the dragon. There's a loose dragon inside. He's taking over with really bad thoughts and really bad emotions and really bad feelings and really messy things. Train him. Put a leash on it. You're in control. We're partners in creation of our life with Hashem. Hashem says, everything is open in front of you. Choose. What do you want? And stop giving me all this sob story about I can't and I'm scared. And you can. You're just limiting yourself. And the last thing I just want to end off with, we're going back to fire for a second. That remember what we said till now about fire. We said about fire, one thing, let's just end off with this one thing. We said fire is good when it's good. While it's consuming one thing, while you are stopping, while you are rehearsing to do the new thing that you're doing, you have to remember to also allow water in. Meaning, you're creating boundaries in a certain way. You always have to remember to give life in other ways. Give a penny to tzedakah every day. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you do, but you have to make that a really important piece, because you can be plowing forward, but you're hurting yourself. You're becoming too intense, too rigid, too judgmental, too impatient. That's what happens as a result of being on the road to greatness. You have to stop, and you have to look at other people in the eye, and you have to care, and you have to be patient, and you have to go buy Shabbos food for certain people that don't have enough, and you have to bring it to their door. You have to do those things to balance out the nefesh. So next week's class, God willing, we're going to continue with fire, and we're going to talk about how fire gets bad. When fire goes bad, when people like that go bad, when they become narcissists, when they become me, when they don't see anyone else around them, when they step in the world in order to get to the top, when they step on whomever they need to step on in order to get to the top, what do we do with these kinds of people? How do we help them balance themselves out? And that's a really, really important thing, because we all have that inside of us as well. And we'll take it from there. Thank you all so much. You're all great students. Love teaching you. Bye. Anyone have any questions? Any questions? Please ask.
Yeah, can I go back to when you're talking about how
Who's
like
talking?
when you're Brianna, hey.
Oh, okay.
When you're talking about anger, and you were saying that like the problem is that they have a certain script of what's going on, and the fact that you're getting in their way, it just made me think, like, is anger, I know like it's an energy, but is anger a voice or like an inner version of you, or is it kind of like sometimes the Yetzer Hara, like
100% it's the Yetzer Hara. When there's an imbalance anywhere, then it's going to create a distance. It's going to create a distance between me and where I'm going. That distance, that dissonance, that creates it almost creates an energy there. That energy is not positive energy. It's definitely the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara can only get in. He only has a way to get in. He's ra. He's bad. Like attracts like. When there's room in the nefesh, when there's room inside of us, when we gossip, when we talk bad, we allow for bad to come in. Whenever we're involved, God forbid, with bad, okay, hurting someone, being jealous, taking something away from someone, we're involved in something bad, like we're following our own Yetzer Hara, he comes in because he gets connected to bad. Bad attracts bad. Good attracts good. What's it called? Which means good people have good things coming to them, meaning they're going to be the bearer of good news. And they're going to be the ones that are going to, host the Sheva Brachos in their house somehow. And they're going to be the ones that are going to end up, adopting those kids, even though they didn't mean to. And somehow all those things are going to come to them, because they're the schuyot people. They're the people that do good in the world. So the people that do good in the world, good things come through them. And the people that do bad in the world, bad things come through them. Okay? Paro was bad before he became Paro. The reason that he became Paro and he had the schut, he had the power over all the whole nation, was because he was such a wretched person. He was such an evil person. He had done so much bad in his lifetime that the bad that was coming into the world was going to come through him. He was going to facilitate it because he had enough room in his nefesh for tumah, for darkness, because he was already so dark. Dark attracts dark, light attracts light. And so therefore, the more of an anger a person has in them, they have to know that they have to bridge that gap very, very quickly. They have to bridge it. They have to knock down the gaiva. They have to knock down the impatience. You see yourself getting impatient with someone that's slower with you, that someone that has a little less cognitive speed than you do? Good. Be there. Grind your teeth. Do whatever you need to do. Don't get angry. Because the anger is giving room. It's giving more room for that to sprout and to happen.
Is there a difference between like the Yetzer Hara and like just the inner child reaching out?
What do you mean?
Like if the inner child like noticed me, or like just different things that like even like the good traits, like the inner child just wants to play and wants to like anything like that, and it could be confused with like the Yetzer Tov, and like I'm just trying to find the balance between like where the elements fit into.
You have to know something about the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara usually will come to you, and usually what it feels like is that the energy is dark. I want to hurt someone. I want to take revenge. I want to speak about them. I want to give them a piece of my mind, or I'm going to give them my cold shoulder. I want to hurt someone. And oftentimes it's also you. The Yetzer Hara wants to hurt you. So he wants you not to be. Do you know that before this class, literally 10 minutes, 20 minutes before this class, I all of a sudden had a thought, maybe we should cancel the class because not enough people are going to come on. And I'm not sure, I'm not sure if I have enough material to teach. All this stuff. I don't know, maybe I didn't prepare enough. Maybe all these pages of preparation are not enough. I should have done more. I should have started earlier. I'm going to cancel the class. And I already know that when that comes up for me, I used to listen to it as if it was me. I really used to think like, oh, I'm really feeling it, and I really, really don't want to show up. I don't feel like showing up. I had before, I was like, I'm not in the mood, I'm tired, I'm not in the mood, my class is probably not, I'm not going to be passionate, I'm not going to be up, I'm not going to be this, I'm not going to be that, I should probably just clean my house and just call it a night. I was tired, I was sitting on the couch. The second I came on, it was gone. But 5 minutes earlier, it was a struggle for me. But now I know what I didn't know then. Then I used to be like, hi, I can't make it. Is it possible that we reschedule? That was me then, because I listened to those voices. Today I know that the voice coming to me, it's not my friend. It's not my friend. It's a foe. And I know he's coming to me because he doesn't want me to do the thing, and he doesn't want me to help people, and he doesn't want me, right? He wants to stop me. He wants to hurt me. He wants to hold me back. If I wouldn't have given this class tonight, I don't know if I would have gotten off the couch so fast. I don't know if I would have done those dishes. You know how I am with those dishes. I don't know. There are actually like only 3 of them in the sink. You should be very proud. But thank you. I appreciate it. I really do. I'm honored. So I probably wouldn't have gotten off the couch. I probably would have been on the couch. I probably would have fell asleep on the couch. I probably would have woken up at like 12 or 1 in like 2-3 hours and like felt gross and like I didn't take a shower and I didn't get pajamas. That's probably would have happened because I was so tired. And then I probably would have felt gross, and one thing leads to the next, and you feel gross, and you go to sleep in the middle of the night, and and you missed your class, and then you wake up the next morning, and it's that. You gotta know, you gotta hear him, and he comes in the form of hurting you or others. And it doesn't mean that you have to just negate. You have to know what to do with it, though. I life coach a lot of people, and I see the processes in people's mind, and it's brilliantly fascinating how people go from one thing to the next. But when you all of a sudden unpack something for someone and it's like, oh, so that wasn't true. Like I was thinking the wrong thing. Yeah. Oh, And now she knows that she's not, that thought process, when that comes to her, that's her little self that's coming to tell her, no, you're little, stay little, don't move, stay little, don't make waves. Stay in the comfort, stay in what you know, stay in the abuse, stay, and it kills her. It kills in the end. It creates illness, disease, and then it kills the person. We should live to 120 and be happy and healthy always. And you guys are amazing. You're learning, we're all learning the secrets to really having an amazing experience here on this planet. B'ezrat Hashem. Ad Meves. I love you all. Anyone have any more questions?
Hi.
Thank
Can I
you,
ask a question?
Devorah.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question? Hi.
Oh, shush.
Beautiful class, first of all. Thank you so much.